But when we think of Mike McCarthy, we think of Aaron Rodgers, right? Because it's not that Aaron threw him under the bus, but Aaron got tired of him. I get it. Sometimes a coach, you're worn out. McCarthy looked like he couldn't coach, tossed to the side. Mike took 95% of the hit. But Aaron Rodgers yesterday said he was happy for Mike, his old coach, getting the Cowboy job. Here's the thing. We look at the Dallas Cowboy job, and we say it's kind of dysfunctional. But ask yourself this. What are the best jobs in the NFL organizationally? Pittsburgh Steelers is number one. They're patient. They draft well. They're top to bottom. They do everything well. They treat their employees great. They'll go after free agents. They never play cheap. They develop players. They draft them. And they don't fire coaches. They are the most patient franchise. Pittsburgh's number one by a mile. You know who second is? There isn't one. It depends on who your quarterback is. There is no second best structural organization in the NFL. Green Bay? Free agents don't want to play in Green Bay. Green Bay doesn't have an owner. I want my team to have an owner. I can go to the owner, Robert Kraft, and say, get rid of Garoppolo. Can't do that in Green Bay. They don't have an owner. Small market, feels collegiate. A lot of free agents not interested. Oh, New England. Wasn't a great organization before Tom Brady arrived. Nobody thought in the Steve Grogan years it was a great organization. It's a great organization because Tom Brady showed up. What about Denver? Not recently. Legendary great Pat Bowlen passed away. You don't know what's behind that. They're recycling coaches, going through them, quarterbacks, coaches. Elway, a legend, could be in trouble. Well, what about Kansas City? It's solid. Not a lot of championships. Stable, small market, not that attracted to free agents. What's a great job? The Dallas Cowboy job, or any job in the NFL, not named the Pittsburgh Steelers, is as good as your quarterback's ceiling. The Cowboys job is as good as Dak Prescott's ceiling. Right now, if Andy Reid retired, Kansas City is a great job because of Patrick Mahomes. It's not a great job because it's Kansas City. Of the 8 new coaches in the NFL this year, 1 made the playoffs, Matt LaFleur. Why would that be? He's got Aaron Rodgers. So Dallas is fine. You have great resources. They spend money. They never go cheap. Free agents want to play there. No state tax. Great place to live. Right now they've got a very good offensive line, a star running back, a star wide receiver, 2 unbelievably athletic linebackers, a great edge rusher, and Byron Jones, can they pay him? I'm not sure, but a top corner. It's a great place to live. It's a great organization. Yes, the owner, we kind of normalize his behavior. He talks after games. Well, you're not going to have as much say in personnel. Frankly, not every coach wants to be in the war room nonstop. A lot of coaches like to coach. Belichick's an exception. He wants to control everything. Mike Holmgren tried to control everything in Seattle. It didn't work. He went back to just coaching and got Seattle to a Super Bowl. So, we always talk about the Dallas Cowboys and roll our eyes, but the Steelers are the best organization. The city is big enough to be an attractive place for free agents and to live. They're patient. They draft. They develop. They do everything right. Everything right. Outside of that, these jobs are as good as the quarterback ceiling you have. That's why right now the best jobs in the league, I'd love to be Seattle's coach. I'd love to be Kansas City's coach. I'd love to be Baltimore's coach or Houston's coach. It's not because of the organization. It's because of the dude playing quarterback. So I'm happy for Mike McCarthy. If he can get more out of Dak Prescott, then it's a great job. For the record, there's 20 great college jobs. Maybe 25 to 30 great college jobs, anywhere in the South with all those players, University of Texas, Oklahoma, Wisconsin, Ohio State, the California schools have a chance. They're around good players. A lot of good college jobs. Structurally have an advantage over their opponents. It doesn't work that way. Pittsburgh, and that's it. All right, let's talk about Green Bay this weekend. And this is going to be an epic showdown. This is Russell Wilson in Seattle against Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay. And you know how I feel about Russell Wilson. He was underdrafted. He's undercovered. He's the most underrated quarterback of my lifetime. Steve Young's probably second. Then there's Aaron Rodgers, who I think is great. And the perception is Aaron's way up here and Russell's way down there. But having been a sports fan since I was 8 years old, so I'm going on over 4 decades of being a sports fan, here's something I've noticed. I would call it the Paul Bunyan quality. We love the golden arm in baseball. Greg Maddux is a much better pitcher than Nolan Ryan. Greg Maddux has 4 Cy Youngs. Nolan Ryan doesn't have any. Greg Maddux, 18 Gold Gloves. Nolan Ryan doesn't have any. Maddux has a better win percentage and a better ERA than Nolan Ryan. But Nolan Ryan threw 100 miles an hour and had some no-hitters. So who's the legend? It's not the better pitcher, Greg Maddux. It's Nolan Ryan. The golden arm. It's the same in football. We fall in love and look past the flaws of the golden arm. Joe Namath is the first we did this with. Joe Namath has 47 more interceptions than touchdown passes. He's still a legend. Dan Marino, with Don Shula, with Jimmy Johnson, was sub-500 in the playoffs, got to 1 Super Bowl and lost. John Elway had the golden arm. He was blown out in 3 Super Bowls and then played poorly in one of the Super Bowls he won. Many think he's the greatest ever. We overlook the flaws. There's Brett Favre, who led the NFL 3 times in interceptions and had far more big game gaffes than big game greatness. And then there's the current golden arm, Aaron Rodgers, who's had 1 great playoff run. And he's stupendous. But that arm makes us overlook some leadership issues, some arrogance issues, players calling him out issues, holds on to the ball too long issues. If you go look at Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers' numbers since Russell came into the league, Russell wins more, wins on the road a lot more, wins in the playoffs more, the passer rating even, passing touchdowns even, completion percentage mostly dead even. And oh yeah, I like Russell Wilson's leadership and scrambling ability. But the gap in perception is Rodgers up here and Russell Wilson way down here. It's the Greg Maddux, Nolan Ryan. It's the Dan Marino, Favre, Namath, Elway. By the way, spectacularly gifted players. But in my lifetime, if you've got, in your era, in your decade, if you've got the arm, first it was Namath had the arm, and then it was Marino and Elway, and then it's Favre, and now it's Rodgers. Now, for the next 10 years, it's going to be Patrick Mahomes, and we'll gloss over some of his flaws, because it is so pretty to watch. I think it's a huge game this weekend for Aaron Rodgers because I think he and Russell Wilson are largely the same quarterback since Russell entered the league. That's just not perception. And Aaron talked about how much the game matters and how much the last 4 to 5 years of his career are going to matter. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.